Way to go, Swiss. And what was it then? You just can't help it. That's okay.
That was billionaire Elon Musk making his way into Twitter headquarters Wednesday afternoon ahead of the much anticipated acquisition of the social media platform. The chief twit, as his Twitter profile now reads, is set to officially close the $44 billion deal by Friday, with backing from big banks including Morgan Stanley, Bank of America, and Barclays.
That was letting the sink in, if people didn't pick up on that joke, by the way. Since pledging to buy the social media giant back in April, there's been many back and forths, especially after signaling in July he would be backing out of the deal. You know how that went. This morning, he tweeted a note directed at Twitter investors explaining his reasoning behind buying the platform, citing the future of civilization depending on having a common town square where a, quote, wide range of beliefs can be debated in a healthy manner without resorting to violence, end quote. According to Bloomberg, Musk also assured Twitter employees Wednesday that he does not plan to cut 75% of the staff. That was something that was being discussed a lot.
That's certainly good news. I mean, look, I feel like in this context, if you mention any of the verifiable bad labor policies he has overseen or any of the censorious activity that he has taken, you're sort of accused of just having a personal vendetta against Elon Musk, and I don't think that's the case, but I think we have to be clear-eyed about what he is likely and not likely to do. I also have end of civilization concerns and also very much value Twitter as a public square. It has not been that. There have been a lot of attacks across the political spectrum of people being banned, shadow banned, bot piled, and the like, and I would absolutely love it if Elon really follows through on his promises to clean house in those ways. But as we talked about in a recent segment here, there are always going to be some kind of moderation decisions. And so the question isn't whether or not there's no moderation, it's whether or not there's going to be transparency and a lack of bias in how the moderation is
Which is something he has acknowledged. So more in that statement, he says, Twitter obviously cannot become a free-for-all hellscape where anything can be said with no consequences. In addition to adhering to the laws of the land, our platform must be warm and welcoming to all, where you can choose your desired experience according to your preferences, just as you can choose, for example, to see movies or play video games ranging from all ages to mature. That is something I am very glad to hear, because I have suggested this as a way out of our kind of moderation bias concerns, is that as much as possible, it should devolve to individual user preference. So you could be a user who wants all the kind of gatekeeping that a mainstream media perspective would give you, or like, this is misinformation, this is Russian, whatever. And if that's the experience on Twitter you want, maybe you can check that mode. And so if someone who is much more free-thinking and open-minded and really doesn't want other people making decisions for them, or just very light decisions about what they see, maybe there's a different mode. Maybe there's a mode you can check where you don't have pornography come across your feed. Twitter, unlike all the other social media companies, does allow hardcore pornography, which usually doesn't come across your feed unless you really search for it. Although it does happen to you in this trending topics sometimes.
Yeah.
If it could be a topic that obviously doesn't have anything to do with porn, but when you click that, it could somehow capture porn. I admit this has happened to me even while sitting in this chair while I've looked at what's trending on Twitter. Oh my God, okay.
And sometimes that is news. I mean, there's a congressperson running that is pro-sex work and was participated in a porn video to show his bona fides recently. There was the story of...
what now?
You saw a lot more than that. There was, a story of who was it? I don't want to besmirch anybody, but some Republican congressman, I think I remember who it was, who perhaps inadvertently had clicked like on a porn video on Twitter, and people were making fun of him for liking that scene. So sometimes it does become a newsworthy event. However, I mean, I think porn is brought up. I've brought it up as kind of the stand-in thing that we can all agree shouldn't just be everywhere on the app, on this app anyway. Right. But I don't know how I feel about the idea of there being different user experiences for people who don't want misinformation, because they're siloing themselves to frankly get a lot of different kind of misinformation because it's such a subjective category, and it's hard for me to see how that'd be different than just blocking or muting people.
Well, no, it won't be different than that. It will be akin to that. But yeah, I block people now who annoy me or just pester me constantly, going to suck up all my attention. I say, no, this is bad use of my time.
If you block or mute people, they're still in your online community, and you see when other people engage with them, their tweet will be blanked out, but you still have the option to unmute.
My point is,
and see what the
I
conversation
trust
is.
users to make these kinds of decisions more than I trust the platform itself.
No, I
So I
get that.
Shift the moderation to the.
I get that, but what I'm
level.
asking is what the difference is between the users making the choice that they can make now in terms of blocking and muting, and the users making a choice by completely siloing themselves in a "don't show me X category of thing" world.
Well, I think there'd be more customization and more options, and going down that path could produce something interesting. And then we might find what the ideal level of moderation is, because we'll see, well, most users like it like XYZ type of moderation. So it'd be consensus-based. Musk has also made headlines earlier this week when he again weighed in on the Russia-Ukraine war, saying that he knew a way to put an end to it. His peace plan would entail Russia getting to keep the Crimea Peninsula that they took in 2014, and then Ukraine dropping its bid to join NATO. So you can imagine that did not go over well with President Zelensky and, the Ukraine stands, as Pod Save America called them. I saw an article, there was a column in the Daily Beast from an international relations professor type person, just absolutely, furious that Elon Musk would offer this bad opinion, in his view, on the subject. I don't find his view on what should happen to be outside the realm of permissible thought. In fact, I don't even think it's particularly wrong. Nor do I think having an opinion on, you're not allowed to have an opinion on Russia-Ukraine unless you have like a master's in international relations or are in the State Department or are about to be on the corporate board of Raytheon, right? This is experts trying to say that only we get to discuss issues, and that went astray with COVID, and even before COVID has gone astray with foreign policy so many times. Very well-educated people, very expert on this field, have been some of the hawkish, most misguided voices in Iraq, Afghanistan, and other places.
Yeah, I don't know why Elon Musk, at the end of the day, he's just a man. Like, as much as I disagree with the Democrats dogpiling the progressives over that letter, at least there are Congress members who have an ability to affect decision-making on the Hill. Elon Musk is just a guy on Twitter saying his opinion about how the war should be resolved, and it's really... I understand saying you disagree with him, but it's odd for it to be treated like a national security threat the way that it's being treated, or like he has to be... He's getting people to prove his point about the censorious instincts that are out there, where people feel like it is quote unquote dangerous for him to be saying, again, I don't know that it's obviously not his job to control what happens in Ukraine. It's none of our jobs to control what happens in Ukraine. They have self-determination, but to basically articulate one option, which is not so far out of the realm of what a likely outcome would be, and frankly was the posture before the war started that Russia wanted, ostensibly, to keep Crimea and for them not to try to join NATO, and then many people's telling it was the provocation of NATO expansion that triggered the unjust and illegal war.
Right. Yeah, I don't get it. I don't get it either.
It's weird.
I don't get it either.
People are triggered, as the kids say.
People are easily triggered. All right, we'll have more Rising in just a minute. Stay tuned.